Hey everybody. Today I thought I'd do something real different from what I normally do. I found this tier list with a bunch of artists and bands on it, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to go through them all and rank them. Now, one thing I just want to make really clear, this is just my own personal opinion, and I mean, if you like any of the bands that I put in like F or E or anything, that's completely cool. Like, this is just something I thought would be fun to do just so y'all get to know my music taste a little bit more, and maybe we can just talk about it in the comments or whatever. I always love discussion about any of these things. So, yeah. There's also a lot of bands on this list that I haven't heard, and I'll be putting them in this category right here. If there's any artists you see in that category that I haven't heard, which there will be a lot of on this list, and you want me to hear it, then let me know in the comments, because I love discovering new music. I love finding out new great things. And that's what's great about music. There's so much of it, and there's so much to hear. So I'm excited to just get into more and more as I keep going along my music journey. But yeah, let's just get started. We have a lot of stuff to go through. All right, first up we have Lagwagon. Lagwagon is a punk band that I know about because of my friend, and they're pretty cool. I haven't listened to any full projects, but I've heard quite a few songs, and that they slap pretty hard. I'd put them in the B. I haven't heard enough, but I feel like if I did hear more, they could go up. But still, they have this one song called Beer Goggles that goes incredibly hard. It's a really great song. But yeah. Oh yeah, also one more thing I just want to say real quick. Some of these artists may grow on me with time, so this is all just based on right now. This could easily change the next day, but yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. I've definitely heard about Brand New. I need to give them a listen. Ozzy Osbourne, I think I'm just gonna put and haven't heard enough, just because I have only heard a lot of Black Sabbath stuff and not really much of his solo stuff, so yeah. Duran Duran, I mean, they're a classic 80s band. They have some really great songs. I don't know. I think B is pretty fitting. Again, I haven't heard any full-length projects, but I really like Goes on Film. That's a great song. And Rio, and yeah, they're good. I mean, I don't know. They're just good. 21 Pilots, here we go. This is where I might make a couple people angry. I don't know. But I think E is pretty suitable. Actually, I'll go D. I'll go D. The only project I really like from 21 Pilots is Trench. I do think that's a pretty great album, but everything else it's not for me. I totally get why people like 21 Pilots and have an emotional connection to them and everything, but it's not for me. The Clash, a classic kind of punk band, I guess. They were kind of one of the big ones to start the whole scene, I think. I haven't heard any full albums. I know that's sad to say, but I haven't. But from what I've heard, I put them in B. They have some great bangers, like Lost in the Supermarket is really good, and I love London's Calling, Should I Stay or Should I Go, stuff like that. It's good stuff. Adele, I mean, she's a great voice. I mean, that's kind of about all I can say. I don't know. Maybe I just need to hear more, but I think C, from what I've heard, is pretty fitting. Block Party, one of the 2000s garage rock bands. I have heard Silent Alarm. That's a pretty good album. It's not one of my favorite garage rock albums, but it's pretty good. I think that comfortably goes in B as well. I do like Silent Alarm, like Banquet's a great song, Helicopter's a great song, stuff like that, but I don't really come back to it as much, but still it's good overall, so I'd put it in B. At the Drive-In, love these guys. Relationship of Command, that album goes so hard. There's so many just bangers on that thing. Crazy vocals as well. I forgot the singer's name. Is it Cedric? I think that might be it. I don't know for sure, but the Relationship of Command is a great album, and they're a very solid band overall. So I think A is good. Dead Kennedys, a very solid punk band. I think that they inspired a lot as well. I'd probably still put them in B because I still need to hear more, but I do really like what I've heard. I do love punk as a whole genre. I haven't really expressed that much, but I do really like it. There's a lot of great bands that came out of the punk scene, especially around this time. So yeah. Thinking about it, I think I'm going to lower 21 Pilots to E. I'm sorry. The only album I like is Trench, so I don't really see why I'd put it any higher. I know I should have heard stuff from New Order, but haven't heard that much. I think the only song I've heard is do 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 do. Why can I not remember the name of that song? Age of Consent, that's what it is. I seriously was sitting here for a minute trying to think about that. But yeah, Age of Consent, that's a great song. I need to hear more though, so I'm gonna put him in haven't heard. Herbie Hancock. I really love Herbie Hancock. I've heard Headhunters, and that album is phenomenal. I think it's pretty comfortably in the A, maybe like top of A, but there's a lot of great stuff that Herbie Hancock has done, and I know he's been a part of a lot of other stuff too. So he's just all around very impressive, very talented, and has some really, really just great instrumental stuff. Velvet Underground. I really like the Velvet Underground and Nico, like that album. It's a great album, but I still haven't fully clicked with it. Like, it's great, but there's something holding me back from putting them above A, so I think I'm just going to put them there. That was one of the albums I reacted to, though, and I mean, I still really like it. Maybe I need to hear Loaded and other stuff from them. King Crimson. I think this is the Discipline album cover. I'm 99% sure. King Crimson is amazing. I think they've made so much great stuff, especially in the time span that they did and when they did it. I think S tier is definitely suiting for them because, man, like, Starless, that song is otherworldly. In the Court of the Crimson King is a great album. In the Wake of Poseidon, Lark's Tongue's an Aspect, Red. Discipline is pretty great too. But yeah, they have a lot of really impressive stuff, and I come back to them often, so yeah. Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd was one of the first bands I really got into, growing up and everything. I mean, the first time I heard Dark Side of the Moon, I was blown away, but who wasn't, you know? My personal favorite Pink Floyd album is Animals. I think that is just incredible. Like, I don't know, I really click with it. Wish You Were Here, Metal, and The Wall are also all really great. I think it's either S or SS. I'll put them in SS. I kind of owe some respect to Pink Floyd for just how much they introduced me into like a whole new sound, and just they really do have some incredible albums, so I think SS is fitting. Scorpions, 80s band. I used to really like a lot of these kind of 80s bands, and now they've all kind of shrunk on me just with the amount of new music I've heard that is better. Still, I appreciate them and everything, but I don't know if I really would come back to them. Queensryche actually opened for Scorpions, and they were much better, so yeah. I actually haven't heard any full album. Oh wait, no. I have heard a full album from R.E.M. I forgot which one, but I remember listening to it. Still don't know where I'd put them, just based on that one album and some of their singles that I've heard. Maybe B, just from what I've heard. I don't know. They're cool. They have some good stuff, but I don't think they're amazing or anything. Still a solid band, though. The Beatles, come on, it's the Beatles. They're the Beatles. Everyone talks about them all the time, but maybe there's a reason for that, you know? I mean, I love Sgt. Pepper, Revolver, Rubber Soul, Magical Mystery Tour, Abbey Road. I mean, those are all just great albums. I feel like I kind of have to, you know? And I do personally listen to them quite a bit still today, so. The Strokes. I absolutely love The Strokes. They're probably my favorite band on this so far. Like, above the Beatles and Pink Floyd. Yeah, I know. Again, that's just my own personal pick, but The Strokes write so many good, catchy, just great songs. To me, they don't even have a bad album. I really love Julian Casablancas' voice, like, a ton. The guitar work, it's simple. It's nothing that's going to take you to the moon and back, but they just write so many consistently good, catchy, and great songs. And honestly, I think some of the albums on the New Abnormal do take me to the moon in that sense. They're just overall a really, really solid band, and I come back to them all the freaking time. So yeah, I know I need to listen to Swans. I know I do, but I have not heard enough. I haven't heard any albums, so if you want me to react to it, that could be maybe a contender there. Wilco. I really love Wilco. I've only heard A Ghost Is Born and Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, but I love both of those albums, so I'd put them in S. Some of the stuff on Yankee Hotel Foxtrot is just really incredible. Another really kind of simple band in a way, but they write really good, catchy songs. And I love I Am Trying to Break Your Heart. That song is, whoa. Yeah, I'm a pretty big Wilco fan, and I need to listen to more of their stuff, so yeah. But based on right now, I still would put them in S, because, man, they hit the right spot. Green Day. Here's another hot take. There we go. D tier. I don't really like Green Day. Pop punk is kind of a weird genre for me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, just for me personally. But Green Day, I just can't really get around Billy Joe Armstrong's voice. I don't know. I do like Panic Song. I think that song is really fun. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Pearl Jam, they're solid. I don't think they're the best grunge band of the 90s, but they have made some good stuff. And by good stuff, I mean 10. Joy Division, I've heard Unknown Pleasures. I have not heard Closer, but I love Unknown Pleasures, so probably S tier. Maybe lower S tier, but still S tier. I think they're very influential, and they're so highly praised for a reason, if that makes sense. Nirvana. I love Nirvana. I'm a sucker for Nirvana. I don't think they really have a bad album, and they just have so many bangers, and they were so influential, and Kurt was a cool guy, and he supported, things that are important to me, too, and I just support their overall attitude and just what they did, at the time. My favorite album from Nirvana is probably In Utero. I do really love Bleach and Nevermind, and even Incesticide, too. So, yeah, I don't know. They've written some great stuff. This is the most mediocre classic rock band to me, I think. Boston, they're fine. Every time More Than a Feeling comes on, I have to skip it, though, because I've heard it 1,000 billion times. But yeah, Boston's fine. I don't know. I don't really click with them that much. U2, another band that I'm just kind of, fine with. I don't really hate them or love them. If they come on, I'm not going to be angry about it, but I'm going to be a little disappointed that it wasn't something else. Arctic Monkeys. I actually really love Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, they made some kind of stuff later down the road, but I really think that their debut album is one of my favorite albums from the 2000s. I'd probably put them top of A. I feel like I'd be ignoring AM and Suck It and See if I put them any higher, though. But still, I even like Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. I think it's a chill vibe of an album. But yeah, Bad Brains, probably one of my favorite punk bands. I think they're above average in the punk band category, so I'd put them in A. They just have a certain energy to them that propels them past a lot of the other bands. The singer's freaking insane. Their instrumentation goes wild. I don't know. They're really just, I think, unique within that genre. So Iron Maiden, I'm kind of indifferent on Iron Maiden. They have some really cool stuff, but I just don't know if it's all for me. Maybe they're a band I appreciate more than I actually listen to, but I'd still probably end up putting them in C. Gorillaz, I'm a big Gorillaz fan. Probably top of S tier. Yeah, I'd say top of S tier. They just have so many good albums and songs. Demon Days is phenomenal. I seriously, absolutely love that album. Plastic Beach is great. Song Machine is great. I even love the Now Now. Humans is probably the only album I'm kind of on, maybe along with The Fall, but I still think overall that Damon Albarn has a really creative mind when it comes to making music, and it definitely shows in Gorillaz. Also, I just wanted to throw this out there. If you have not heard Do Ya Thing by Gorillaz, it has James Murphy from LCD Sound System on it and Andre 3000, and it's one of the best things I think all three of them have done. I don't know. It's freaking insane. It's such a good song. I highly recommend it if you haven't heard it. 30 Seconds to Mars, whatever, I actually probably dislike them more than I like them because they came out with, some more poppy stuff, and I didn't really like what they were doing originally that much anyway, so D tier for me. Oh shit, this is Spoon. Hell yeah. I almost skipped that because I didn't recognize that logo. That's a different logo from what they normally have. But man, I love Spoon. I am a huge Spoon fan. I grew up listening to Spoon, so maybe I'm a little more biased on this one. I mean, even though this is all just my personal opinion, but still, like I just think they write so many consistent bangers. I don't think they have a bad album. I love Britt Daniels' voice. It's such a unique voice, and yeah, they're one of my favorite bands of all time. Actually, like I seriously have such a connection with a lot of their music. So yeah, highly recommend them if you haven't heard of them. They're a great indie rock band. Franz Ferdinand, they made some bangers. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. But yeah, they made some bangers. Queens of the Stone Age, absolutely. But Queens of the Stone Age, oh my god, come on. Songs for the Deaf, Like Clockwork, Aero Vulgaris, Rated R, Lullabies to Paralyze. I mean, I don't think they have a bad album, and they are just so creative and consistent. It's great. I love how they change their sound like every album. It's really interesting to me, and I love when bands do that because it it keeps it interesting. And even if something they try doesn't work out, it's still cool that they tried. In their case, though, I mean, they haven't failed to make a good album. So I'm a huge Queens of the Stone Age fan. So yeah, Imagine Dragons, yeah, Arcade Fire. They're a great band. I really think that Funeral is fantastic, and The Suburbs. I don't think they're quite up to the top because they made Everything Now and Reflector, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I still really think that their first three albums are great, so I'll still put them in S. My favorite Arcade Fire song is probably Neighborhood 1. I just think that song is so nostalgic and so well written, and it puts me in a feeling. But yeah, great band. My Bloody Valentine, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of theirs. I think Loveless is one of my favorite albums ever. They're seriously incredible. I really do love their sound, and it's just such a unique and honestly beautiful sound. I don't know. I really love music that just kind of presents you with this wall of noise, and you kind of just have to figure out what's happening in a way, but almost in a beautiful way, because I feel like My Bloody Valentine is one of the artists that do that. And also, recently in my reaction, I heard Death Consciousness, and the song I Don't Love, it presents that same sort of feeling, and it's become one of my favorite songs, like, possibly ever. I don't know. It's a depressing ass song, but man, it hits hard. But yeah, My Bloody Valentine just has a really unique sound, and I really appreciate them. So King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, abso-freaking-lutely. I'm debating whether top of A or bottom of S. I'd say top of A, but it's like bordering on S. I mean, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, they're freaking insane. They made 5 albums in 2017, and they were all some variant of good. I don't know. They're kind of a weird one, just because they make so many albums out of nowhere. But I do really love that, because they just pump out a lot. And most of the time it's great. I love Infest the Rat's Nest. I love Polygon and Wannaland, Murder the Universe. Those are all great albums. Nonagon Infinity. They're a very all over the place sort of band, but again, I really like when bands branch out and try new things, and they do that all the time. So yeah, they have a great psychedelic sound, and yeah. I actually saw King Gizzard live on the Infest the Rat's Nest tour, and it was a freaking insane, crazy show, and it was a great experience. So yeah. Ramones, kind of indifferent, honestly. I don't really like their singer. I don't even know who the singer is. I feel ashamed, but I don't know. Ramones are kind of just, of course they were influential, of course they're a classic punk band, but I never come back to them, and I think what I've heard is just kind of okay. Death Grips, hell yeah. Yeah, I actually love Death Grips. I'm not a huge crazy super fan, but I really like a lot of their stuff and just how freaking weird they are. They're definitely an acquired taste, I feel like, but I mean, Zach Hill is insane. But yeah, Death Grips, they're interesting, but I dig it. My Chemical Romance, banger band. I probably put them in A. I love the Black Parade, and Three Cheers is good too, so yeah. My favorite song on the Black Parade is probably Mama. I mean, that song is just woo. I mean, overall, I think they're a solid band. Disturbed. I used to listen to them all the time, and now I don't really care for them. Probably D. I don't know. I don't hate when their music comes on, but I just would rather listen to something else. I don't know. Again, I used to love them when I was getting into music, but now I never listen to them, and I don't know. Some of their songs are really cheesy. Tame Impala. Absolutely love Tame Impala. I love Currents. I love Lonerism, Inner Speaker, Slow Rush. I honestly think they're all great albums. In a way, Tame Impala is like the modern version of the Beatles. Not in terms of popularity, but in terms of like sound. But they do it in their own unique way still, especially with Currents, because I think that Currents, they kind of departed from that a little bit. My personal favorite is Lonerism, but I still really like Currents and Inner Speaker and the Slow Rush. Also saw Tame Impala live on the Slow Rush tour, and that was insane. Tame Impala, if you ever get the chance to see Tame Impala, I definitely recommend it. It was an insane experience. A very visually satisfying experience as well. Just really cool. And Apocalypse Dreams, oh my god, that song is insanely good. Jeez, that is so good. Van Halen, don't really care for Van Halen. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of how I generally feel about a lot of the 80s bands from this time. I don't know. They don't really click with me as much as they do with some other people. But Tool, very great band. I think A is probably fine with me. I need to go back and listen to some of their albums because it's been a minute. But I mean, I really do love Lateralis and Enema and even Undertow. Like, they just write some really impressive songs. They're all very talented, and I think they have a very raw and just heavy sound that, I don't know, it's unique within the genre. So yeah, Oasis, they're pretty good. That's all I have to say, really. The Black Keys, they grew off of me a lot. I still don't hate their music, but I'd probably put it in C just because, I don't know, the album I come back to the most is Turn Blue, but the rest of their discography is just kind of bland to me now. I don't know. Stone Temple Pilots is pretty good. Probably put it in B. The Smiths. I have a lot of friends who love the Smiths. I still do really like the Smiths. I have heard The Queen is Dead and Meat is Murder, but it's been a very long time. I do really like what they have going. They're not one of my favorite bands ever, but I still really appreciate them. Probably top of A. I'd probably put them at the top of A. Besides the fact that Morrissey is an asshole, I still I still really think they have some great songs. And Johnny Marr is a great guitarist as well. So, Soundgarden. I actually haven't heard any full albums from Soundgarden, but I still do really like what I've heard, and Chris Cornell is an amazing vocalist. Just since I haven't heard any full albums, I'm going to put them at B, but I feel like they could go up with time, and if I did hear some of their full-length albums. The White Stripes. Classic garage rock band. I'm a big Jack White fan. The White Stripes isn't my favorite thing that Jack White is a part of, but I still do really like the White Stripes, so I'd probably put them in A. I prefer his solo career and his stuff with like the Dead Weather a little bit more, but again, I still very much like them. Fleetwood Mac. I think they're a beautiful band, honestly. I don't really have much else to say, but they just very, very pretty music and definitely a part of their time, but in a very good way. Adolescents, very solid punk band. I've seen them live. They're crazy, and I love it. So B. Aphex Twin. I actually just recently listened to his debut album, and it's very good. I'm going to put Aphex Twin in A, but I definitely feel like that could keep going up, because I'm going to go through the rest of Aphex Twin's discography. So maybe I'll update y'all in the future. But great artist and really, really cool electronic stuff. Royal Blood. I kind of have a little bit of a soft spot for Royal Blood because they're a band that my dad and I kind of connect over with. I think the debut album and their sophomore album are both great, but Typhoons is kind of okay. I'd say top of B, maybe low A. I'll put him top of B for now. But looking at some of the bands on this list, it's like, yeah, I don't know if they're on that level, but still. System of a Down. I love System of a Down. A tier. I love Toxicity and the self-titled album. They just go so hard and so crazy. And Serge Tankian, I think that's how you say it, is a very eccentric singer. And it just makes the band so fun. And they actually, I mean, lyrically, they talk about a lot of important stuff, so that I can appreciate. But yeah, I mean, banger band, banger albums, banger songs, you know. Beck, I don't even know where to put Beck, honestly. He's done so much, and I'm kind of mixed on some of his discography, but he has made some really, really cool stuff. So I'd put him top of B, probably. I really like Odelay. That's probably my favorite, but he's done a lot of experimental stuff. And I actually saw him live with Cage the Elephant, and they were both great. So, yeah. Nutrimook Hotel. Well, this was the first album I ever reacted to on this channel, and I do absolutely love In the Airplane Over the Sea. My favorite song on In the Airplane Over the Sea is Holland 1945. Love that song. I'm going to put this one in S tier probably, and this one mainly goes out to y'all. Thank you for supporting my channel and everything. This one's for you guys. I mean, that album made me want to do this more and just have a good time with building a music community and just having interesting conversation with people. It's all just a good time. That's all I want this to be, this whole channel. So, again, thank you guys for sticking around, and I really appreciate just this album. For one, this channel, and two, really has some great songs, and it's a all-time album. I mean, there's so many people that love it, and I'm now a part of that crowd, so yeah. Billie Eilish. I like Billie Eilish. I don't care what anyone says. I like Billie Eilish. I think her new album is actually really good, so yeah. Black Sabbath. They're good, but I don't think they're as great as some people say. Just personally, I'd probably put them in B. I think Paranoid is cool. Same with Masters of Reality, but I don't really come back to them that much. I do like War Pigs, though, and Into the Void. Black Flag, another very solid punk band. Probably just put them in B. Don't really have too much else to say. Rush, a band I appreciate more than I listen to. I mean, Neil Peart is God. Geddy Lee is an incredible bassist. I'd probably put them like top of B, maybe. I don't know. I do really appreciate them, but I don't really come back to them as crazy often. I do really like 2112, though. Devo. I recently heard Q Are We Men? No, Answer, No, We Are Devo, or whatever it is. I like that album. I don't think it's my favorite album ever, but I still like it. I'd probably just put them in B. They're a fun band. I don't know. I don't really have too much else to say. I just think they're pretty fun. Depeche Mode. They are, like, I think the dad band. But I do like Depeche Mode quite a bit. Violator is a pretty solid album. Maybe top of B? I don't think they're quite on this level, but I still do appreciate Depeche Mode. I really loved Policy of Truth. I think that's my favorite Depeche Mode song. Leonard Skinner. Don't like Leonard Skinner. Yeah, he's not one of my favorites. To me, he just doesn't really stand out amongst his peers. I don't know. Aerosmith. I like Aerosmith. I think that's about all I have to say, though. Coldplay. I am very mixed on Coldplay. I think they're great and terrible. Because I love their first 4 records, maybe, besides X and Y. I think that one's okay. But I really like Parachutes, Rush of Blood to the Head, and Viva La Vida. And even Ghost Stories, actually. I like that album. But they also have albums like Music of the Spheres and A Head Full of Dreams and Milo Xyloto that are just draining to listen to. Even then, I'd probably still put them in B just because I do appreciate their first few albums. So, yeah. Courtney Burnett. I really like Courtney Burnett, actually. Probably A. There's something about Courtney Burnett that really just puts me in a good mood and just a really chill mood if I ever just want to relax or chill or whatever. She writes so many catchy songs and she's great hooks, really funny lyrics sometimes. I really like her voice and her just chill, laid back vibe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan. The Police. Probably B. I like Synchronicity and Sting is pretty cool. But yeah. Deftones. I love Deftones. Ooh, I don't know where I'd put them though. It's either A or S. I'm gonna go with top of A, I think. They're like right on the edge of A though. Like they're real close to S. I've only heard White Pony and Around the Fur, but I freaking love both of those albums, and I've heard a lot of other random songs. Seriously, White Pony is so good. It's so good. They're so heavy and dynamic and just great. Passenger, that song on White Pony, they did with Maynard from Tool, and it's seriously incredible. I don't know, I just think they have so many bangers, and they are a pretty consistent band, at least to my knowledge, so yeah. Oh wait, I actually also have heard Ohms, I think. Yeah, Genesis on that album is also really great. But yeah, Three Days Grace, probably on the same level of these bands I don't really care for, I guess. Maybe not as bad as 30 Seconds to Mars, but I don't know, they all blend together for me. The Killers, I like Hot Fuss. Some stuff on Sam's Town is pretty cool too. Everyone ain't close in a place like this. Talking Heads, absolutely, yes. Remain in the Light. Don't even get me started on that album. It's it's so good. So good. Love Talking Heads. And I also love Speaking in Tongues too. David Byrne is so eccentric and fun on the vocals, and they have a repetitive sort of nature to their songs, but they keep it interesting by just either one, David Byrne throwing out some crazy vocal lines, or two, the amount of just stuff they add in the back, or just different elements and harmonies and everything. It's just great. Goes on, and the beat goes on. Radiohead, one of my favorite bands of all time, if not my favorite band of all time. I listened to Radiohead for like 3 years, just a lot, and I'm a little bit burnt out on them now, and it's kind of sad to say, but I still really do love Radiohead, and they will have a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons. I mean, they've made some of the most iconic albums I've heard, ever. They've made some of my favorite albums ever, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big Radiohead fan, so. Megadeth is like, I don't know. Shinedown probably goes with the rest of these. Again, they all kind of blend together to me. Bush is pretty decent. I'd probably just put them in B. Don't really have too much else to say. Helmet writes some bangers. I think that their sound gets a little too samey with some of their songs, but they do have some great stuff, so B. Jet, probably C. I like them more than the average 2000s alt-rock band, but I still don't really think they're anything incredible. Descendants, great punk band, probably just B, but I do like Milo Goes to College a lot, and I've heard a lot of stuff just because I have a lot of friends that like punk, so yeah. Bowie, come on, man, absolutely. He has like 20 plus albums, and not every single album I like from him, but his good albums are so good that I think they easily outweigh some albums that I think are just okay. I mean, he made music for what, like 50 plus years. He wrote some of the most influential stuff. He's such a great vocalist. I mean, Ziggy Stardust, Station to Station, Low, Heroes, Black Star. I mean, man, the list goes on. I really do have a lot of respect for David Bowie, and he's just a very influential person and songwriter, and also just an artist I personally enjoy a ton, so yeah. Nothing But Thieves, they have some bangers. Put them in B. I like the self-titled album. Beach House, actually becoming one of my favorite artists. I am actually blown away by most of the stuff that Beach House has done. Seriously, God, freaking Depression Cherry, Bloom, Teen Dream, their new album, Once Twice Melody, Seven, like, jeez, Beach House is such a transformative band, and I I really click with most of their discography. I don't think they have a bad album. I really think that they're something special, and they're my favorite dream pop artist. They create such beautiful soundscapes and atmospheres, and I forgot what the vocalist's name is, but I think it's Victoria. Beautiful voice. Everything is so well produced and performed. It's just, yeah, I have a ton of respect for Beach House. Elton John, I've heard Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. It's a great album, but I haven't heard anything else, and I don't come back to it as much, so I'd probably put him in top of B. Ween, oh yeah. Ween is a weird one. If Ween didn't make Pure Guava in the pod, they might be in S or SS. I'm not even joking. But they did, so A. I do really like Ween, though. They're hilarious a lot of the time, but they also write some incredible songs. And I love the Mollusk, and I love Quebec. They're a fun band. They really are. Caius, the band Josh Homme was in before Queens of the Stone Age. I've heard Blues for the Red Sun and Sky Valley, or Welcome to Sky Valley. The only problem I really have with Caius is that their singer could be better, but still, I think they're probably B. Again, I think that they would be better if they had a different singer, but they still have some great songs and a really great instrumental sound, I guess. AC/DC, this one might get some people mad, but yeah, no. Again, completely cool if you like AC/DC. Just for me, I don't know, I used to listen to them all the freaking time, and now I don't know why I love them so much. I mean, it sounds like what's his face smokes 30 packs of cigarettes a day. Like, geez. A lot of their albums are very just rinse and repeat. One of the main problems I have with AC/DC is that they really just do not go outside of their sound, like, ever. They have the same sound for every single album, and after, like, who knows how many albums, it gets tiring, you know? So, yeah, that's my problem with AC/DC, but still. I get why people like them, it's just, I'm a bit tired of them. Bon Jovi, one of my least favorite 80s bands. I'm sorry. Yeah, not for me. Foo Fighters. I have a lot of respect for Foo Fighters. I'd probably still put them top of B, bordering on A, but the reason why is just because they've made some kind of okay albums, but I really do appreciate what Dave Grohl did after Nirvana, and I really love Wasting Light. I think that's a great album. So, yeah. Fugazi, solid punk band, going in B. Oh my god, okay. I don't like Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I'm one of those people that just, I don't know. I don't really like anything about them. If I hear Sweet Child of Mine one more time, I might jump out a window. Like, I get why people like them, again, but I'm not a fan of Axl just as a person. He's kind of an asshole. Slash is really talented, but their sound, I don't know. It's not for me. Nine Inch Nails, love Nine Inch Nails. I think S tier is very fitting. Downward Spiral, Pretty Hate Machine, With Teeth. I haven't heard The Fragile, but I'm planning to listen to it. Trent Reznor is a maniac when it comes to writing songs, and he just has this personality and this anger to him, and just instrumentally very, very creative. A lot of their stuff is either really angry or sad, but still just they have a really incredible sound, and I really like Trent Reznor as a whole. So live, they're pretty decent, I think. Throwing Copper is a pretty good album. The Cars, pretty solid 70s band. Yeah, they have some catchy stuff. I like the Cars. Tyler the Creator. I'm gonna put Tyler the Creator in A tier right now, but I feel like he could grow on me with more time. I think that Tyler the Creator has such a personality, like a very big personality, and I love his energy and just his attitude. Like, I don't know, he's very interesting to me as a person. I think Igor is good, and I like his new album, Call Me If You Get Lost, but yeah, I may have to hear more to bump it up, but still, I like Tyler the Creator a lot. St. Vincent, I'm basing this off of her new album, Daddy's Home, because I have not heard anything else, but I do really like that album, so I'd probably put them in B. St. Vincent. Poison, another very cheesy. They're too cheesy, man. Like, they're too cheesy for me. Muse absolutely has some great stuff. I've seen them live. They're insane. Matt Bellamy is an incredible vocalist and guitarist. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe top of A. My favorite album is probably Absolution, with a very close second being Origin of Symmetry. Misfits, another solid punk band. Haven't fully clicked with me, but still like them. Alice in Chains, one of my favorite grunge bands. Probably S tier, actually. I'm a very big Alice in Chains fan. I have a lot of respect for Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell, and I don't think they have a bad album. They're one of the more unique grunge bands, I think. They had a certain sound, and a lot of that is owed to Jerry Cantrell, but Lane Staley also has just a phenomenal voice. I mean, they sound like they're playing in the desert, like about to die, you know? I think Dirt is a fantastic album. I love Jar of Flies. I think Frogs off their self-titled album is an insanely good song. Yeah, I don't know. I really like Alice in Chains. MGMT. I really like MGMT. Put them in A tier. I really like Oracular Spectacular and Little Dark Age. Probably more Oracular Spectacular, but I just love their sound. They have a very nostalgic sound to me. They write some beautiful songs, some really interesting songs too. So yeah, Led Zeppelin. I know a lot of people would put them up here. I'm not one of those people, just because if you asked me this like 6 years ago, yeah, I'd probably put them up here. But I am a bit burnt out on Led Zeppelin, but I still appreciate them. They're a great classic rock band. So A tier. Talk. I have not heard The Laughingstock, actually, which I need to get to. Jeez, I don't know why I haven't, but I have heard Spirit of Eden, and that album is incredible. So top of A. Low. I've only heard their new album, but it's still good. I feel like they'd go up if I heard more stuff, possibly, so I'll put them in B for now. Weezer. Weezer. What a band. I legit don't know where to put Weezer. Like, I guess B, but like kind of low B, because if you compare the amount of like shitty stuff they put out to the amount of good stuff they put out, album wise, like the shitty scale is much higher than the good scale for me. I like Pinkerton and the Blue Album. Even though the Rivers lyrics are very confusing. But I mean, you have Pacific Daydream, the Black Album, the Teal Album. I have heard all of their stuff. Yeah, I have. Van Weezer, all of those albums I do not like, and there's probably more I'm not thinking of. Oh yeah, Make Believe. But man, I just such a mixed band. So low B, I guess. Little Sims. I actually am surprised to see Little Sims on here. Very happy to see Little Sims on here, though. Top of A, probably. Just based off of Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. One of my favorite hip-hop albums of all time. Incredible album. I really, really like it. And she's very talented. And I just really appreciate her for what she's saying and doing. Yeah. Jeff Buckley, fuck yes. I love Jeff Buckley. I'm so happy to see Jeff Buckley on here. Yes. Grace. Holy shit, that album is good. Like, oh my god, that's a good album. Probably another one of my favorite albums, like top 10 or 20, something like that. Just, holy shit, his voice is fucking godly. And not only his voice, but his songwriting is just so unique, and his songs are so good. They're so good. It really sucks that he passed away early, because he seriously was an incredible musician, singer, and songwriter. I just seriously on another level, and I owe a lot of respect to Jeff Buckley for Grace, and just really phenomenal album and amazing, talented person. Metallica, I guess B. I know some people would put that way higher, but I've heard a lot of Metallica, and they're fine to me, but they're not one of my favorite metal bands. Still appreciate them, but just not one of my favorites. Modest Mouse. I actually love Modest Mouse. Ooh. I'm gonna put them in S. Bottom of S, but still S. They actually have so many good albums. I like everything they've done up until the Golden Casket. Yeah, I like all of those albums, and that's like 6 or 7 albums. Yeah, I don't know. They have a great sound, and just they're a great indie rock band. One of the more unique ones. Very unique vocalist. Yeah, I don't know. I recently heard We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank, and I actually am kind of blown away by that album. Even with it being one of their more recent releases, which some people don't look at as fondly as their old stuff, I still think it's a great album. Slow Dive, hell yeah. I like My Bloody Valentine a smidge more. Like a smidge. But you know what? I'll still put him in SS. I feel like I have to. Souvlaki is just incredible. Another album that I reacted to, very much still love the album, so. And the band, yeah. Sublime. I think people bash on Sublime a little too much. I like Sublime. Probably top of B. Every time I listen to Sublime, they put me in a good mood. And I think that, yeah, while not all their music is the best thing ever, I still think that they have a great feeling and a night. They just want me to go in the 90s. I don't know. I have a good time with Sublime, so. Fall Out Boy, same vein as Green Day. I don't know. I haven't heard a crazy amount, but from what I've heard, it's just, to me. Paramore, very solid band. Probably A. I think they're one of the best pop punk bands. Hayley Williams is incredible. Seriously, she has a very powerful voice. Kiss is okay. Yeah. The Doors, Jim Morrison. Absolutely. A tier probably. I think that the debut album is phenomenal, and Waiting for the Sun and Strange Days are both really good as well. So Primus. Primus, yes. I love Primus. S tier, baby. Just kidding. No, I'm not gonna. they're not quite on that level, but I do really like Primus. Probably A. They're such a fun band. Like, come on. I always have a good time when listening to Primus. Seriously, I think Les Claypool is my favorite bassist of all time, and I think one of the best. Look up some of the live performances of Primus if you haven't already, because Les Claypool plays some of the most insane bass lines while also singing at the same time. Don't understand how he does it, but Queen, this is probably gonna make some people a little bit upset, but yeah, B. If I was being realistic, I'd probably put them like here for me personally, but I feel like I have to appreciate them. The reason why is just because I've heard so many Queen songs on repeat for so long, and I'm tired of it. I still appreciate Freddie Mercury. He's a fantastic vocalist, and yeah, they're a great band overall, but I'm really tired of them, just personally, so B tier. Queensryche, one of the best 80s bands, I think. Probably A tier, actually. Maybe top of B. Yeah, top of B, because they have some great stuff. They're not quite as good as, like some of these, but I really like Queensryche. Again, I saw them live with Scorpions, and they were much better than Scorpions, so. I went to that show because my family wanted to go, and I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? Rage Against the Machine, A tier, easy A tier. They have an attitude. They make so many energetic, angry, frustrating songs. Yeah, I like Rage Against the Machine a lot. Bulls on Parade always hits hard. My favorite album is probably the self-titled, but I really like all of their other stuff too, and I think Evil Empire is a bit underrated. Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're in the same vein as Sublime for me. They're fun. Their early albums kind of suck, besides, like after Mother's Milk. Well, Mother's Milk isn't that bad. I'm talking about before that. But yeah, I mean, they're not a band that blows me away, but I have a good time with them every now and then. So Rolling Stones, I just think they're good, but I probably just put them in B. They really have made some fantastic songs, but I just think that there's so many other bands from the time that have just did it better, really. The Beatles. But yeah, still appreciate them. I like Mick Jagger. I like his personality, but yeah. We don't need better as we are, and we don't know what the hell. Sonic Youth, hell yes. I don't know if it's SS, but like top of S, because man, they write some great stuff. I love Goo and Daydream Nation and Thousand Leaves. I've heard a lot of like individual songs as well that I haven't heard full albums from, and I love it all. So I don't know. They're just a great band, very influential, and they have a really cool sound. So yeah, Kings of Leon, they've shrunk on me a bit, but I still like them. I grew up with them a bit, so yeah, B. Fiona Apple, fuck yes, I love Fiona Apple. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard any albums outside of Fetch the Bolt Cutters, but I've heard a ton of individual songs outside of that album, and they're all absolutely jaw-dropping, and I still love Fetch the Bolt Cutters a ton. So yeah, Fiona Apple, really great, a really great artist, and I think one of the best singer-songwriter artists just in general. Wolf Mother, they're pretty alright. They make some good songs every now and then. Creed, no, not for me. Oingo Boingo, I have a good time with Oingo Boingo. Thank you, Dad, for this one, I guess. Pavement, yes. Oh my god, I love Pavement. I freaking love Pavement. Oh, yes. I'm so happy to see them on this list. They're so consistently good in the indie rock genre. I think they're one of the first to do the indie rock genre, really. I could be wrong about that, but I think so. They have so many good albums. I love Stephen Malkmus's voice and just lyric style and just everything. They write so many funny songs, but also really catchy and great songs. Every now and then they'll put out like a pretty emotional one. But yeah, they don't have a bad album, and I listen to them like seriously a ton. So I really love Pavement. Crooked Rain is probably my favorite, or maybe Terror Twilight. I don't know, it's hard to choose, but yeah. Elliott Smith. I mean, I know about Elliott Smith because of this channel, and I really like Elliott Smith. I wouldn't really put him in S just quite yet, but I've only heard the first 2 albums, so keep that on hold. That could easily go up with future albums, so we'll see about that one. But yeah, Elliott Smith is really good either way. The Kinks, they're pretty solid, I think. I haven't really heard enough. Sleep, stoner metal band. I can only handle so much of them at once because they are very samey, but I mean, they go pretty hard, so B. Also, Dope Smoker, that album's 2 songs, and it's, like an hour plus long? Jeez, like, oh, that's weird. Pixies, oh yeah, put these guys up in S. I mean, they influenced Nirvana and probably a ton of other bands, and they just have a very noise rock inspired sound, but also combine it with a lot of great catchy elements. I'm a big Pixies fan. I love Doolittle. I love Surfer Rosa. I think I might put them now. They're probably bottom of S though, just because their most recent output hasn't been that great, but I still really appreciate their early stuff. Their first 4 albums. So yeah. The Cure, Robert Smith and co. Very much a great band. Probably not quite S, because I've only heard Disintegration and Wish, which are both great albums, but I don't know. Something's holding me back a little bit from S, but I still very much like The Cure a lot. Yeah Yeahs. I like the Yeah Yeahs. They have I forgot what the album's called, but it's the song with Heads Will Roll on it. That's a good album. I listened to it kind of recently, and it's good. So probably B. And the last one on this list from the ones that I have heard enough from, Interpol. Honestly, a really great band. I think some of their most recent stuff is kind of okay, but Turn on the Bright Lights is one of my favorite albums of the 2000s. I even really like Antics and Love to Admire. So, yeah, great post-punky sound. Very Joy Division inspired, but it doesn't feel overwhelmingly obvious to me. And I just think that they write some incredible songs. So, probably top of A, bordering on S. I'd probably put them there. But yeah, that's it. Wow. We went through a lot. But okay, look at all these bands I haven't heard. Look at them. Oh my god. There's so many. I feel bad. Have I not been listening to enough music? What am I doing? Well, if you guys want to look through this list at all of bands that I haven't not heard or listened to enough of yet, feel free to like tell me and yell at me in the comments to listen to a certain band or artist. Because, I mean, again, that's the great thing about music. There's so much of it, and it's just great to know how much is out there and how much there is to discover. So it makes me excited. And I really, really enjoy just listening to new music. So yeah, this is my list for now. Again, this is all based on right now. And again, if you like any of these bands right here, like, again, that's completely cool. This is just all my personal choice. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I don't know what I'm going to do next. I think I might be putting out Strawberry Jam reaction next, possibly. Either that's coming after this or before this. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.